Caesarion's based kind of on a true story, right? Ancient Alexandria, isn't that the story of that poor, unfortunate pagan woman who the early Christians decided they were going to turn around and for
Mm.
her beliefs just, well, they call to action basically for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, this is in them ancient days, when people were barbaric and didn't know better. And she was someone who wasn't, as to our knowledge at least, much of a barbarian. And she actually knew quite a lot. So you could say that she knew better. And that was hard to handle for the early Christian movement of basically cult members. So they decided to storm the building that she was sitting inside, where she probably was working, I would assume. And
Going about business, just a normal day.
yeah,
Surprise.
she was a teacher and a science. She was in science and teaching and philosopher and all that. And they decided to liquidate that because they didn't understand what she was doing, and that must be wrong.
They didn't share the same beliefs. So
No.
therefore, you must die.
Therefore, they dragged her out and killed her outside that big official building. So as you can hear, that's definitely things that happened in the past.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say things that happened in the past because previous album, very prophetic. We have Middle Ages, a great plague, and all the things that go wrong, and then all of a sudden we get a pandemic. COVID-19 comes along. Now, the new album, I hear a lot of what could apply to maybe the last 6 years in America, and for sure the last week. And the point there is the last week from where we're setting down today, where, the world's on the brink of real war. Well, the fierce fighting, the war is going on in Ukraine and Russia with a resistance. So this album comes out a year ago. Once again, it would have been considered a prophecy. Are you just sit dumbfounded sometimes that you're writing what's about to be history, or do you have like some great oracle that's telling you where to go?
There is a disconnect in the Western world amongst people like us, basically. Westerners, somewhat in tune with, what happens technology-wise, and also when it comes to progress in terms of what we do and what we say and how we think and how we express those things. And we do pride ourselves into living in such a sort of a status quo point in time where history was a thing of the past. And now, because of all our enlightenment and all our tools in terms of technology and expanded minds in terms of like how we can expand our brains by using technology basically, and other things if you want to, we have distanced ourselves from the actual circularity of things and the cyclic nature of everything. And therefore it comes as a shock to us that something as barbaric and old school as war and threat of war and threat of authoritarianism and biblical wrath or whatever, or pandemics, it actually comes every now and then, as they've always done, as they always will. And this is something that I've been sort of trying to shine a light on all time. But I've always talked about the topics of what I'm writing about as in sort of a past tense. Because in the Western world, we sort of deemed religiosity in the old school way that we used to joke about, picket fencers and people protesting. And that was sort of something that happened back in the day and someplace else. And you know, and it wasn't like, but because now we've evolved into something that we don't do that shit anymore. So now it's all about
Really?
rock and roll and fun.
Yeah, well.
And no. And